You know that feeling when you realize you've made a big mistake and everything kind of pauses? You freeze. There's a knot in your throat. Your stomach sinks. You can almost hear and feel your heart beating. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt in that moment. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Wanu and I am taking you through my journey from aerospace engineering to medicine. Today, I'm going to talk about my very first big mistake at work. It wasn't even that bad, but it was enough to make me pause. So the normal workflow when you have a patient is that you admit the patient and you write something called a history and physical, which essentially documents their entire history, family history, surgical history, their medical history, their medications, their allergies, and then you talk about specifically what brings them into the hospital that day. They tell you the entire story. You perform your physical exam, you listen to their heart, their lungs, feel their neck for any swelling, you examine their abdomen, you essentially do your top to toe exam or a focus exam, whatever the case may be. And then you document your history, your physical, and you submit that as your H&P. That is the first documentation that you collect for a patient. Now, on subsequent days, when you have the same patient, what we typically do is you go to that initial note, the H&P, and you copy it forward. So you press copy and it makes a copy of that note, and you can then adjust that note accordingly. You put in any new medications they've started, any new tests or examinations that were performed. You also do a new physical exam, like you do a physical exam every day, and you update your physical exam. And so you can submit that note for that day. So now you have your H&P from the first day and you have your new progress note for the subsequent day. And you can do that for however many days the patient is in the hospital for. You essentially copy the note forward, update it, and submit it. And what that does is it stops you from having to type every single thing from scratch every day. If you have a patient for 10 days, for example, you should have your H&P. You should have 8 progress notes for the days in between, and then you should have your discharge note for the last day. So you should have 10 documents for that patient for 10 days. You get the point. That's how it's supposed to work. So what happened was I was taking care of 6 or 7 patients. I had started with maybe 2 on my first day. I worked my way up. I was feeling more comfortable with taking care of this, new aspect of disease, let's call it that. And I thought it was a great day. I got home at maybe 6:30. It was a very long day, but I felt pretty good overall. That was until I got a message from my fellow, not my resident, my fellow, that said, "Hey, if you need help completing your notes, let me know." And I was very confused because I thought I completed my notes for the day. I was getting through them, I was submitting them, I felt really good, I was updating them appropriately, I had a perfect plan in mind. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. In fact, I was so confident with what I had done that I was about to send her a text back, "Hey, can you please check again?" Earlier that day, we had an issue where I had written a note and she could not see it on her end, even though she could see it on my screen that it was written. And so I just thought, this is another one of those things happening. I was going to send her a text, "Hey, can you please check again and let me know if you see it? You might just have to scroll down a little further." But I didn't. I decided to pull out my computer, open the medical record, and actually see what she was talking about. Lo and behold, upon signing into this patient's chart, I realized that instead of copying forward the note from the previous day, I had hit addendum. Addendum means you are fixing that original note. You're not copying it. You're not making a new note for the new day. You're just fixing the note from the previous day. So what I had done was change the note from the previous day, update it with our new day's plan, and saved it. But then it did not make a note for the current day. To add another layer of complexity to this, my attending physician, who's the head physician on the team, had already signed off on the changes I made for the previous day. It's essentially supposed to be sealed, and that's that. We're not supposed to be touching that note again. Well, I just touched the note and I just changed it and I erased his signature off. Oh dear. You know that feeling when you realize you've made a big mistake and everything kind of pauses? You freeze. There's a knot in your throat. Your stomach sinks. You can almost hear and feel your heart beating. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt in that moment. Because what a huge mistake. I don't know how I did it. I've been documenting for a very long time now. This is the same kind of medical record. It's called Epic, that I used as a medical student. So I'm pretty familiar with this medical record and I've never made a mistake like this before. So I was blown. I didn't even know what to say. But I called my senior resident, I told her what I'd done, and she was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just start writing the new notes for today then. And I felt really bad because the whole point of me picking up more patients, taking care of more patients, was to give her some relief. There were a total of maybe 15 patients on the team. Whatever patients I don't take care of, she has to cover. So I'm trying to help you here, but you're only having to come back at like 7 p.m. to write the notes that I didn't write. I felt like such an idiot. She just said, it's fine, these things happen. I already know the plans anyway. I have previous notes from them anyway, and I will just update it real quick, okay? And I was like, no, let me call Epic, the customer service, the helpline, and see if they can revert the notes to the old ones, undo the changes that I made, and then I can write the notes for today and submit those. So I called Epic. The person who I spoke to was obviously very confused as to what I had done. So he said that he will transfer the issue to another team. The fact that I've made such a big mistake that you have to be transferring me around and telling me that you will have that team that specializes in such things call me back. I've never had Epic have to essentially place me on hold before. So I'm like, okay, I've really messed up here. Eventually I get a call back. The person who's apparently an expert at what I've done doesn't know what to do. So he says he will call me. He says he will call me back a second time. Well, yes, this was going to be my second call back. He'll call me back again. Okay, I'm waiting. In the time that I am waiting, I decide, heck, my attending is going to be home soon. Once he gets home, he's going to sit down and start signing off on the notes that I did for the day. I need to tell him this is wrong and he should not sign off on this. So I send him a text and I say, I think I said I'm sorry, but I made a mistake with the notes. And he says, hi, what mistake? And so I tried to explain to him what I've done. And I don't know how he's going to take it. I've only worked with him for maybe 3 or 4 days at this point. He's probably thinking, this is such an idiot resident. This is such an idiot. Why did they assign this resident to my team? But I send it to him. And you know what he says? To my admission of guilt, you know what he sends back? Yeah, he laughed. He laughed, which was good. Because, okay, you're not angry. Maybe this really is not the end of the world. Maybe you're not going to fire me. JK, I didn't actually think he was going to fire me. But again, you have to understand, I've never made a mistake like this before. I didn't know how deep this would go. Especially because another aspect of writing notes every day is that's how doctors get paid. By documenting, we actually took care of this patient. So if there's no documentation of us taking care of the patient, the department doesn't get paid. He does not get paid. So I'm like, okay, I just messed with this man's paycheck. My paycheck doesn't change. I'm a resident. I get paid the same thing every single month, regardless of what I do. He goes on to say he'll do it tomorrow. He'll finish the note tomorrow. And I am relieved enough to get back on my computer, wait for the call back from Epic, which eventually comes. What do they say? There's nothing they can do about what I've done. I simply have to go back, redo the note to what it was from the previous day, but they can't put back my attending signature. He's going to have to go in to re-sign those notes. Not the end of the world, but crap. Okay. The next day when I get to work, I'm laughing because I'm picturing myself in the room waiting for him to walk in and be like, such an idiot. But he doesn't. He walks in, he says, "So what did you do again?" And I explained to him, "Okay, so this is what I did. I hit addendum instead of copy, and I messed up the notes from the previous day." And he was just like, "Okay, so what do I have to do?" I'm like, "Well, you have to go in and sign the note that I messed up." But the issue is, I didn't just mess up one note. I think I did it to 4 patients. And he still took it well. He was just like, okay, that's fine. Let's go sign the notes now. And he did it. Before he did that though, he proceeds to tell me about the time when he made a mistake. Apparently he was in the office. He was getting ready to go and see a patient. He had pulled up her chart and he was ready to talk about everything, how she was feeling, what changes they were going to make, the results of her last, lab tests and imaging and all that great stuff. So he goes into the room, he has that conversation with her. He asks her about the new medication she started. She's doing really well. They go through the imaging together. You can turn the computer screen so your patient can see what you're talking about. For example, if I get an x-ray, my doctor and I can go over it together. He shows me, like, this is what the x-ray looks like, this is what's supposed to be here, these are the changes, blah, blah, blah. He says he does all that with her. He shows her new imaging, her new lab results. They discuss what they want to do next. She's perfectly fine with the plan. She's doing well on her new medication that they've just started. It's a great appointment. He walks out of the room, and about 10 minutes later, he realizes that was the wrong patient. Apparently, this patient had the same issue as a different patient in the clinic. The difference was, this patient he had just spoken to had never started this new medication that he had asked her about. So when he said, "How's it going with your new medication?" and the person said, "Oh, my new medication is going well," she had never started a new medication. I think to make it even more interesting, this patient he was speaking to was a fellow physician, another doctor. So this isn't even someone who should be, or you would assume might have mixed up the medications, wasn't exactly sure what they were talking about. This was another doctor, and neither of them realized it. And he told me the story, and he was like, "So we make mistakes. It's fine. Things happen. You laugh it off. As long as you don't hurt anyone, you move on." It made me feel so much better. But over the next few days, I thought about something that I said, which was, I don't make mistakes like this. And I've had to ask myself, mistakes like what? And I don't make mistakes like this. Who am I not to make mistakes, or mistakes like this? A mistake, I guess, in my mind is so big that it's almost stupid to make such a mistake. A mistake that's below me, a mistake that I should be ashamed of. It's caused me to pause and realize how hard I am on myself. I mean, y'all need to understand, the night that I realized what I'd done, everything I had planned, dinner and my shower and getting tucked in bed and watching a movie, all of that went out the window because I was just so fixated on the fact that I had made a mistake. But I've had to accept, or I'm still having to accept, that I am so hard on myself. I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed to not do things perfectly. I'm allowed to not know the right answer. When my attending asks me a question, I'm allowed to be human. I've been so type A for such a long time, wanting perfection and working towards my degree and wanting to be wanting to be great at what I do, that I've almost never given myself room to just be. If a day does not go exactly as I wanted it to, exactly as I had envisioned in my mind, I give myself such a hard time about it, not taking into consideration that so many other things have happened, so many other factors that I could not control contributed to my day going differently from what I wanted. I'm recently moved into a new apartment, and I didn't have a couch for a while. I didn't have all my furniture. Things were not in place exactly as I thought they should be, exactly as I wanted, and I was fretting over it so much. How could I not have my apartment in place 2 months after moving in? And it wasn't until I spoke to my friend Amaka, who said, You know, when we moved into our house, we were sleeping in the guest room for like 4 months because our bed wasn't there yet, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And that's what happens when people move. And her saying that and telling me to just chill made me think about the fact that I moved in the middle of my ICU rotation. I was working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. What time did I have to put an apartment together? After my ICU rotation, I moved to pediatrics, where I was working 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. Again, what time did I have to put an apartment together? I also forget the fact that by the time we moved in, I'd already purchased all the furniture for the bedrooms. We had a place to sleep. There was no issue there. I already had all my sheets. I had all my plates, my cutlery. I had a lot of stuff already in place, but I was so fixated on what I had not done. Like I've always done, like I continue to do. I say all this to say, if you're like me and you continue to be so hard on yourself, you continue to focus on all the things that you have not achieved, and you don't give yourself credit for the things that you have achieved, if you're like me and you don't give yourself grace when you're a human that just needs to take a nap, it's time that we cut that crap out. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to not be perfect. We're allowed to be tired. Make that mistake. Accept that you've made that mistake. Stop beating yourself up. The world's not going to end. The world did not end when I messed up 4 patient charts. It's not going to end because I make another mistake. So, until the next time I see you, be nicer to yourself.